We have a question from Doyle Nitai Prabhu, and he is asking, if we say that Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu are the most merciful avatars of Bhagavan, why Mahaprabhu was so strict with Chota Haridas? For me, it's a kind of scandalous that Mahaprabhu got satisfied with his suicide, and why Nityananda Prabhu got so angry with Shivananda because he was late. Please explain these two pastimes, Chota Haridas, chastisement, and Nityananda Prabhu kicking Shivananda Sen.
So we have to understand the word and meaning of the word Lila, pastimes. There are divine pastimes, just like in a movie, a play, a drama. There has to be some dramatic tension, right? So that in one sense, the heroic aspect can rise and be seen, be in the spotlight. The heroic aspect in Lila means devotion. The connecting thread between all these pastimes is the spotlight will shine on devotion. That is what is important. Right? So, in the case of Chota Haridas, we see for not only what we call a minor offense, really no offense at all, and that underscores the importance of this pastime. We're told that he, on the plea of begging rice from Mahaprabhu, he approached one lady, and later that Mahaprabhu expressed his displeasure that someone in the garb of a monk, robes of renunciation, would have illicit connection with ladies. Right? So, when he heard that as a penance, that Chotto Haridas had drowned himself, committed suicide, when this news was brought to Mahaprabhu, we're told he smiled. And that has bewildered people and devotees. But we're told Mahaprabhu was happy to hear this news. So then we think, why? Because, first of all, remember, it's a pastime. So in this sense, just like in a movie, no one actually dies. So when we see the movie and one person, leaves their body, no one actually dies. They're acting. This is Lila. These are pastimes. But what we will note is who is qualified to play these parts. Just like in a movie, they have to cast the best actor to play a particular role, right? There's casting and scripting. So in the casting, they have to, who is the person who can perfectly play this part? So when it comes to particular pastimes, it is really such a dramatic performance and confidential act can only be performed by a very dear and exalted devotee. So what does Mahaprabhu want to teach by this pastime? The seriousness of the offense of, in the garb of Krishna consciousness, exploiting others. That's the principle that is to be taken away. Particularly sensuality in the garb of a spiritual person to exploit others. So and particularly to send a message to those in the renounced order of life. If we saw that there was a pinprick through which you could, a loophole, so to speak, everyone would take that loophole. So not only is there no loophole, but the lady that was approached by Chota Haridas, we're told she's a very old lady. So there's no question of, how do you say, the male gaze or sensuality on his part. That underscores that there's some other meaning to this pastime altogether. And he's trying to teach, do not assume the role of a spiritual teacher and then exploit those in your care, particularly women, and sensuality. So when he hears that Chota Haridas, understanding his role in this pastime, that he's takes his own life, he smiles, thinking, oh, he did the right thing. He's sacrificed so that others can understand. Right? So it's interesting, or alluded to in this question, we say, Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, the Mahavanaya avatar, Namo Mahavaranaya Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaur Tashe Namaha. He's the most merciful, magnanimous incarnation avatar. Right? And we're told somehow miraculously that Nityananda Prabhu is even more merciful than him. But that same Mahaprabhu, who's come to liberate all the fallen souls, as we said recently, Mayam Rigam Dointa Ipsitaman Badavad. They're those who are chasing after Maya, he's chasing after them, to rescue the fallen souls. So he is so merciful to descend and freely distribute Krishna Prem to everyone. But we hear that Apasiddhanta makes him angry, cannot be brought to his ear. Right? Someone who is so merciful, what does that mean? That the higher aspects of spiritual culture, not to meddle there, not to meddle in those higher things, to pay attention to your own class and your own lesson, and for the unqualified to meddle in the higher plane. It's, in the language of Srila Guru Maharaj, he said it strikes the spinal cord of the proper thinking person. The higher things, that is intolerable to the more advanced and more developed devotees. They can tolerate so many things, but not meddling with the higher aspects of Krishna's pastimes. And in the case of Nityananda Prabhu, if we want to understand that pastime, then we shall understand the reaction of Shivananda Sen, that he is willing to sacrifice his family, everything, his own apparent happiness, for even the remote discomfort or displeasure of Nityananda Prabhu. And if he is kicked by Nityananda Prabhu, he considers himself so fortunate to be touched by his lotus feet. All throughout the Bhagavatam and Vedic literature in general, we hear how the devotees are aspiring for a connection with the lotus feet of the Lord. Right? And the prayers of the Nagapatnis, the wives of Kali, they say, Yad vanchana Sri Lalana Charatapo Vihaya Kaman Suchitam Dritambrata. Suchiram Dritambrata. for lifetimes, Lakshmi Devi engaged in tapasya to try and get access to the holy lotus feet of Krishna. Right? So, in so many places this is described. There in that pastime, to the amazement of the wives of Kaliya, her husband is a serpent. He has so many serpentine heads. Right? And Krishna's dancing on those heads with his holy lotus feet, and the kum from his lotus feet are decorating the heads of Kaliya, and the wives of Kaliya are saying, even Lakshmi Devi couldn't get this, and now her husband is so fortunate to get the touch of the holy lotus feet of Krishna. And Nityananda, what do you say? Nitai Padakamala Koti Chandra Shushitala. As brilliant and beautiful as 10 million moons, and softer still. So to come in contact, we shouldn't think the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu are a harsh thing. But they're the softest, sweetest, most beautiful achievement. So these we find in the pastimes of the Lord and His devotees, sometimes they do something to, if he's, in the case of Advaita Acharya, treating Mahaprabhu too respectfully because he's technically senior, and it makes him feel very awkward that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is treating him like a superior and behaving like an inferior. Then Advaita thinks, what could I do to get him to chastise me the way he chastises those who are most dear to him? So he has some strategy, and again, some apasiddhanta, in this case Mayavad philosophy, and that brings out the ire of Nimai Pandit. He starts giving him a beating, and Advaita Acharya is smiling, and he said, oh, now I've got you. So that is their play. As we see in the family sometimes, the play that what to outsiders appears to be very objectionable is just the play of brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, wives and husbands. So we have to accommodate the concept of Lila, means divine play. And I'm reminded also of Srila Guru Maharaj when he mentioned the case of Judas, who betrayed Jesus. And we hear later as Jesus is carrying his cross up the mount that Judas is among the crowd on the sidelines, and they make eye contact. And then we're told Judas goes and hangs himself. And so Guru Maharaj said, I was thinking, what was in that look? And then he explained, he said, when their eyes met, Jesus is saying, not that Judas is asking forgiveness, Jesus is conveying to him, please forgive me for using you this way in my pastimes. Your name will be black for all time to come, but I've entrusted this service to you. You're very dear to me. So even the very act of betrayal, that is part of these pastimes. So please forgive me for using you in this way. And he's saying, with feeling such compassion, then he goes off and hangs himself. So the pastimes of Mahaprabhu are mysterious. In the pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu, we're thinking also of the Vyas of Chaitanya Lila Vrindavan Das Thakur, when he's talking about how merciful are Gaur and Nityananda, and they've come to rescue the fallen souls. What is the song Guru Maharaj would have Gurudev sing on every auspicious occasion? Amana Durmati Sangsara Bitore. And what's another line there about Nityananda, the Avadut, Mahaprabhu and the Avadut, they've come to rescue the fallen souls. So Vrindavan Das is such an exclusive follower and recipient of the grace of Nityananda Prabhu, and he wants to share that with everyone. But if some people are so foolish as to miss this opportunity, or to not understand really the glories of Nityananda Prabhu, he's saying, then I want to kick you in the face with my left foot. And Prabhu, how can a devotee say something like that? And some accuse him of not being humble. And Srila Saraswati Thakur said, no, actually, this is the grace of Vrindavan Das Thakur, that he's thinking, he realizes what is before one, this inconceivable, rare opportunity to get the grace of Gaur and Nityananda, and if they won't take it, he's saying, by abusing them, he's opened up a new channel for the grace of the Lord. And say, how is that? We see, like sometimes you see parents and they have a little child and they're like interacting with someone and the child like kicks somebody and then hides behind his mother, right? And then the parents have to go, oh, he didn't mean it. He's normally very nice. Please forgive him. So he's saying in this context, Vrindavan Das Thakur is like that naughty child. He's saying, if you don't take the grace of Gaur and Nityananda, then I'm going to kick you. And so if you're fortunate enough to be on the receiving end of the kick of Vrindavan Das Thakur, then Gaur and Nityananda have to come to you and offer themselves to you and say, he's normally very nice. Please forgive him. They have to offer themselves to you in compensation for his misbehavior. So it's something like that. But Mahaprabhu, in his Shikshastakam, what are his teachings? He's saying, that, I was thinking about this the other day. There's a saying, like, do unto, some people call it the golden rule. They say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? Nityananda, isn't that? That's the so-called golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But then I thought, but Mahaprabhu's teachings surpass that. Trinadapi sunichena tororapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Mahaprabhu says, you have to be humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, willing to offer all respect and honor to others, expecting none for yourself. Not unto others offer all respect to others, expect none for yourself. Humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, offering all respect to others, expecting none for yourself. Saying, then, kirtaniya sadahari, then you can, constantly take the name of the Lord and be free from all this negativity. And Srila Govinda Maharaj, this verse was above his head where he sat on his veranda in Calcutta, and at least once a day, right, he would quote this verse. And I asked him once, I said, Maharaj, when did you realize this? And he said, oh, Maharaj, he said, out of desperation, nothing else works. Like I exhausted all other possibilities. And at last took shelter of this teaching of Mahaprabhu that was there all along. And he also went on to say, and when we say, humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, he said, tolerating that which is intolerable. Because if we just think like, oh, there's some things that are annoying or irritating, but I'll tolerate them. That's good. He's saying, no, what it really means is tolerating that which is intolerable. Somehow diving deep into the plane of grace, and tolerating that which is just intolerable. And then, and he said, offering honor to others, expecting none for yourself. He said, offering honor to those who are not even worthy of it. Because to honor the honorable is obvious. Saying, no, to honor those who may not apparently even be worthy of honor or respect them. And when we're told, more humble than a blade of grass, that it's been pointed out, like if you press grass, it springs back. Right? You push it, it springs back. Don't spring back when you're pushed. And I should say, it's easy for me to sit here and say these things. To be in circumstances where we will embrace the teachings of Mahaprabhu, that requires some courage. Actually, spiritual life is not escapist in the sense, really it is courageous. And if we can embrace these teachings, then the release of all the negative things in this world will get release from all the negativity. And the Rupa Goswami's description of Bhava Bhakti, one thing he mentions is man shunyata, means the absence of ego. Right? And Guru Maharaj explained this in an interesting way. He's saying, because how can these great devotees be like that? Because they don't want anything from this world, including the opinions of the people in this world. They're not seeking their approval or their admiration. Right? Kana, kamini, pratishta. These three, what's the word? Obstacles on the spiritual path. Money, women, meaning, and the tendency to exploit women, and pratishta, self-establishment or name and fame. Saraswati Thakur in his Vaishnava K song says, Vaishnavi pratishta tati korunishta. And I thought this is interesting. There's a group of philosophers, pragmatists, who say, we should concern ourselves with the opinions of those who matter. Right? Think of that. We should concern ourselves exclusively with the opinions of those who matter. And then they say, gods, goddesses, the divine, who knows? But I know you, you know me, we know other people. We should concern ourselves with the opinions of those who matter. Right? So they mean in this world. And not only that, they say, but not everyone can express their opinions eloquently. So where do we find the most eloquent expression of people's opinions or feelings? In literature. So then it's from great writers and authors that we will hear the voices of the many. As one writer said, hey, Shakespeare invented the human. He means so many different archetypical humans are there. Please. Right? That's how we come to know these different types of personalities. So then it goes from, we should concern ourselves with the opinions of those who matter, means ultimately, and they're saying, and where will we get the best representation of that? But in literature, these great writers and thinkers. Right? It sounds plausible, but they say, but these other things, these divine books with these divine inscriptions and stuff, that we can't verify whether or not they are true, so we eliminate them from our consideration. But if you follow this line of thought, when they're saying we should concern ourselves with the opinions of those who matter, we end up in literature and fiction. And as has been said, art is a lie that tells the truth. If you want to tell the truth, write fiction. Fiction is that which is not verifiably true or objectively true. And in that sense, it's irrelevant to the truth. But what is presented there resonates in the heart as a truth, and we embrace that. Whether or not those people can be factually proved to have existed or said these things or did whatever is described there is irrelevant. The story either resonates in your heart or it does not. But if that be true, then why should we dismiss the divine literature, the divine stories, and the divine personalities that are described there? If you've already shown it doesn't have to be objectively true, why do you dismiss this, saying that we can't verify whether or not it is true? But rather, if what we hear there resonates in the heart and awakens us to a deeper truth, we can embrace that. So Saraswati Thakur says, Vaishnavi Pratishta Tati Korunishta. In his opinion, concerning ourselves with the opinion of those who matters means the Vaishnavas, Sadhu, Shastra, Guru, Vaishnav, what their opinions are. And when we're embrace this concept, then the opinions of the people in this world become irrelevant to us. So man shunyata means their ego doesn't spring back by being insulted from the people in this world, because it has nothing to do with them actually. They're seeing things on a deeper level. Just as we hear Paramahansa Babaji Maharaj, Srila Gorkha Shordas Babaji, right, that he's thought by the people in general, they don't know how to identify him. Just like the term avadut. And avadut means one who can deal with polluted things, but is not polluted. So Babaji Maharaj, he's sometimes being insulted by children. We know how children can be. They're throwing things at him, calling him, they think he's some kind of a madman. So they're throwing things, calling names. And what does he say? He says, oh, Krishna, I know it is you. You're making these children throw the things, and you're making the children say offensive things to me. It's you in the background. You're just using them to deal with me in this way. But I know how to deal with you, and I will tell your mother, Mother Yashoda, that you're abusing me, and then she will take care of you. So he could have gotten very angry and thought, and chastised those children. But no, he thought, who's in the background of every event? There's a saying, the common saying, Not a blade of grass moves without the will of God. So what to speak of more significant things? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. Everything's meant for my enjoyment and I'm controlling everything. And one man said to Saraswati Thakur, then what is our position? And he said, you have no position. So Krishna, no, I am in control of everything and everything's meant for my enjoyment. Then we think like, we get nervous or we feel left out, disappointed, what's in it for me? But then he says something very sweet in the next line, because then we're in anxiety. And he says, Suhridam sarvabhutanam, but I'm your dearmost friend. Elsewhere it's also, Titikshava karunika suhridam sarvadehinam. The pure devotee, suhridam sarva, is the dearmost friend of every living being. Krishna is saying, Suhridam sarvabhutanam. I'm your dearmost friend. So then and he said, Shantim, gyatva shantim richtati. Knowing this, if you can know this, that who's controlling everything is your friend, your dearmost friend. Gyatva mam shantim richtati. Knowing this about me, then you can be free from anxiety and full of peace. What is it? Morning peace? Peaceful morning? So, think about it. If you knew who's controlling this town, they're your best friend. Then if you get in some trouble or something, I know the mayor of Chiang Mai, or the governor of the province, or the king of Thailand. Right? And similar thing for any other country. So when you know the person who's controlling everything, that puts you, and they're your good friend, that puts you in a good position. That's one thing to consider. The other thing to consider is that what is happening to us at any given point in time is in the background of those circumstances. Is it friendly or inimical to us? Okay. Is Krishna our friend or inimical? Okay. Is he an advocate on our behalf? I mentioned the other day, like the school teacher. The students are there with the books, they're studying, then at one point the teacher says, close the books. Everyone close your books. Now, flash quiz, a pop quiz. And everyone's like, oh. And some are thinking, our teacher is very mean. Doesn't like us. Why would she do this? But actually, that's a good teacher, a benevolent teacher, an affectionate teacher who has your best interest at heart. Things, close the book. Now there will be a test to see if you're actually absorbing the lessons at hand. And if on completing that test, we see things that we got wrong, that'll be most helpful to us for improvement. So in our own self-analysis of our lives and life circumstances, we have to be thinking like that, those pursuing devotional culture. On one level, in the Bhagavad Gita, tolerance is recommended. Matra sparshasta konteya shitoshna sukha dukkada agama payano nityas tam titikshasva bharata. That Krishna says to Arjuna, it's like heat and cold, happiness, distress. Like what do we do when it's cold? We put on a sweater, or we make an adjustment. If we just sit and complain, it's too cold or it's too hot, that doesn't change anything. So we make some adjustment and go on. So he's saying these events that happen in our life, and in a sense, it's almost by karmic design, preordained, the amount of suffering and enjoyment you get. You have tam stitik shasva bharata, tolerate that. Just tolerate it. The way you tolerate seasonal changes. But Guru Maharaj tells us the Bhagavatam dives deeper. And there it says, Tattenu kam pam susamikshamano bunjana evatma kritam bripakam. That anukampam means, susamiksha. Samiksha means to analyze or examine, and susamiksha means with great detail or deep analysis. And what are we being told here? That if we say, not a blade of grass moves without the will of God, in the background of every event and every circumstance is the friendly hand of Krishna. He is not inimical to us. Right? So, why did I say that? Because
making adjustments.
Oh, yes, and also adverse circumstances. So in the Bhagavatam, there is one devotee, Queen Kunti, and she says in her prayers, Vipadak takshasva tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatshad apunar bhavadarshanam. She says to Krishna, when everything's going very nicely, then there is a tendency to forget you, right? To become self-absorbed. Saying, but when I'm put into a very difficult circumstance, at that time, my necessity for remembrance is very great. Right? So the adversity pushes us into deeper consideration, a deeper level of thoughtfulness and Krishna culture. So she's saying, then, if that's the result, because by remembering you, then all of this suffering vanishes, so then it would be better if I was in adverse circumstances. We're generally not going to pray to be in adverse circumstances. But Queen Kunti, that is the level of her devotion. Is that she's thinking, oh, whenever I'm in great difficulty, my remembrance of Krishna is intensified and amplified. And then I'm free from all this anxiety. She also says, what is it? Apanak sangshritim gauram yannama vivashoganam tatto sadyo vimuccheta yad bibeti svayambhayam. She's saying, by remembering you and chanting your holy name, then I am freed from fear, because fear personified is afraid of you. So, and also in the Bhagavatam, in the second canto, Sukadev's advice to Parikshit Maharaj, facing death, Tasmad, Bharata Sarvatma, Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari, Shrotavyas Kirtitavyas Cha, Smartavyas Chechchata Bhayam. Abhayam means fearfulness, worry, anxiety. Saying the solution to these things is Shrotavyas Kirtitavyas Smartavyas Chechtatabhayam. To hear about you, to glorify you, and to remember you. Yes. Other question?
We have a question from Madhavilata Didi from Holland. And pretty similar question
Yeah.
for Chinese devotees.
Uh-huh.
How to break your family karma?
Guru Maharaj likes to tell us, he quote this old saying, maxim, oil your own machine. Also, he said, one scholar said, the message of Bhagavad Gita is cure thyself. See, again, in the words of Guru Maharaj, as long as you're casting blame upon others, other people, your situation, the environment, then you're in a state of denial. He said, then you're going to be in this world for a long time. He said, but as soon as you realize, I alone am the culprit, whatever blame there is, I should put inward. Right? That's taking responsibility for the karmic situation that you're in. Right? We've generated these karmic circumstances. It's easy to blame other people, but actually we're responsible for the situation that we're in. And the sooner we realize that, accept that, and acknowledge it, then we can become free from that. So Guru Maharaj said, when you accept the responsibility for your karmic circumstances, and I have nothing to blame on anyone else, only myself, he said, oh, then your days here are numbered, they're few. Right? So there's individual karma, collective karma. You cannot, as we see in the world situation right now, right? We're told there's three types of miseries: adhyatmic, adhibautic, adhidevic. Self-induced miseries, miseries from other living beings, including viruses, and so-called acts of God, hurricane, tsunami, earthquake, like things that are beyond our control. What can you do about that? You cannot do anything about it. Only if you concentrate on self-improvement, right? And acknowledging these circumstances I'm in, I'm responsible for them. Manu, and the Manu Samhita says, tamasa bahurupena veshtita karma hetuna. He said, you see all these living beings, including ourselves, they are dressed in their karma. The body is karmic dress. It's very interesting. That's what he's saying. It's a karmic dress of the soul. The body is the biological expression of the soul's delusion. The swarup, on the other hand, is the devotional form of the spirit soul. But the body is the biological expression of the soul's delusion. We're all dressed we're wearing our karmic dress at present, and we are responsible for that. So, only by surrender can we cancel our karmic destiny. Sarvadharmam parityajya ekam sharanam braja. As Krishna tells Arjuna in the Gita, if you surrender me, but he's saying, but what about, I have other responsibilities. He's saying, ahang tvang sarva papebhyo. If there's any fault, I will absorb that. Right? Ahang tvang sarva papebhyo moksha ishami masuchaha. Don't worry, you surrender to me and I will take care of everything else. Right? That is faith, the culture of faith. Shraddha shabde vishvasako he sudrida nischoy. Krishna bhakti koile sarva karma krita hoy. The belief that by doing this one thing, everything is achieved. There's one solution, Yasmin vigyate sarvam eva vigyatam bhavati. Know that one thing, knowing which everything is known. Yasmin sarvam praptam, yasmin praptam bhavati. Acquire that one thing upon getting which everything is got. So we think, that sounds very good. Is any reference point that this can possibly be true? The Bhagavatam, yata taror mula nishechanena tripyanti tatskanda bujo prashaka prano praharachcha yatendriyanam, saying, just when you pour water on the root, on the trunk of a tree, the roots are beneath, right? You pour water on the roots, they go up the trunk, out the branches, to the twigs, all the leaves. So it shows you can put all your energy in one place and it serves everything. With food, we put food in the stomach and then it nourishes the entire body. So you only put it in one place. Right? And the feet benefit, the hands benefit, the eyes benefit, the nose benefit by just putting it in the one place. We're being told, dedicate yourself and put your energy, your focus in one place. And the service of Krishna and his devotees, and then everything, all obligations are met. And belief in the possibility that this is true is the culture of faith. Anything else?
Question from Gupta Govardhan.
Yeah.
So, does the Lord love everyone equally, or he favors devotees more?
Sangmoham sarvabhuteshu me priya. Krishna says that he loves everyone equally, but I'm not sure he's telling the truth. Because he cannot conceal his bias towards his devotees. But if we take it that everyone is ultimately a devotee, then it's true. But even within those devotees, there are gradation. So Krishna loves more than Radharani, his beloved. But so many expansions, extensions from her, he loves them all. It's like sometimes they ask a mother who has many children, like, which one do you love the most? Oh, I love all my children equally. But there might be one who's like a little extra special. But she won't say. It's natural. There's no fault there. So Krishna, his official position is that he loves everyone equally. Right? But that means in their devotional aspect, when they're reciprocating that love and affection. And this is a wonderful thing. Rupa Goswami tells us, Sri Krishna Karshini Chasa, that love, which is the finest product of the heart, the fruit of the heart, love. Saying, and that means Krishna consciousness, love and affection. It's such a powerful and irresistible substance that Krishna is conquered by it. His name is Ajita. Ajita Krishna means Krishna who cannot be conquered, but we're told, Ye prayaso jita jito piyasi taistrilokyam. Krishna, who is unconquerable, is conquered by love. So even a drop of this divine love in the heart of a tiny finite soul is enough to capture the infinite. He cannot resist that. But if he finds it irresistible, then what to speak of those who, Radha Rasa Shuddhanidhi, you have like an ocean of prem. Like in the case of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, who's in Krishna Lila, Radharani's father, and Gaur Lila comes as Pundarik Vidyanidhi, this great devotee. And when Mahaprabhu meets him, because Vidyanidhi means ocean of knowledge, right? And when Mahaprabhu sees him, he said, no, he is not Vidyanidhi. He is Premanidhi, an ocean of love. And this, we would think ocean of knowledge would be a great compliment, normally. See, not in his case. What's in his heart? Premanidhi. He's an ocean of divine love. Now that I've seen him, my life is perfect. So, if we accept this principle that Krishna is reciprocating the love and affection, right? What does it say in the Gita? Jayata mam prapadyante tangs tataiva bhajamyaham. He's saying, as you surrender to me, I surrender to you. Because someone may not like to hear, like, we should all surrender ourselves as servants to Krishna. Right? We fancy ourselves like executive assistant, servant. That sounds like such an antiquated word. But Guru Maharaj would ratchet it up even more and saying, not slaves of Krishna. And you go, But what we have to consider is both parts of the equation. So what Krishna is saying is, if you become a slave to me, then I become a slave to you. If you're holding back, then I'm holding back. But if you offer yourself to me fully, then I will give myself to you fully. But think about it, that's not fair, because we are finite. So the finite offers themselves maximum, at max, they are finite. So even offering themselves fully, still finite. But Krishna is so charmed that in the heart of a tiny finite soul, there could be love and affection for him. He gives himself fully. Think, the infinite is giving himself to the finite to reciprocate there. You gave everything, I'm giving everything. My everything happens to be in greater magnitude. Sun ray and the sun. Sun, they're similar. Same, but different. And what's the difference? Magnitude. Think of it, one sun ray and the magnitude of the sun. Think of the beauty of Krishna, that's something reflected in the finite, with sunlight magnitude of beauty, love, charm, sweetness, affection, and who's capable of prati anga lage kande prati anga more, capable of reciprocating every atom of every heart's hankering and simultaneously. That is Krishna. So in Gita, he's saying, as you surrendered me, I respond. But in the Bhagavatam, he's saying, but there, it always goes deeper. Guru Maharaj is saying, Eho bahya age kahoar. That's good, go deeper. Dive deep into reality. What's in the Bhagavatam? Krishna says, sometimes someone comes to me for mukti or liberation. They come to me for devotion, but I know that they really want something else. Because I'm in the heart, I know what they really want. I give them mukti or liberation and they go away. And he said, and sometimes someone who's a devotee, really in their heart they're a devotee, they come and ask me for some mundane thing. And I don't give it to them. Because I know what they really want is devotion, love, and affection. So it says, mukti dadati karhichet, mukti dadati karhichet. Smana Bhakti Yoga. Oh, Smana Bhakti Yoga. He's saying. So liberation, mukti, I give easily, but not devotion. Why? Because when you have devotion, I'm yours. I belong to you. The infinite has come under the control of the finite. That's almost a frightening thought. The infinite under the control of the finite. Who can be entrusted that? Someone who is wholly one in interest with the infinite. Right? But then it goes further. We go further in the Bhagavatam. When Krishna's with the Braja Gopis, and just think, their posing is as Guru said once, half civilized, silly jungle girls, but they're the most exalted souls. And when Krishna's in their presence, and the kind of love and affection that comes from their hearts to him, he's saying, you made me break my promise. I said, the way people surrender to me, I'll reciprocate that, but what is in your heart is so pure, so beautiful, so enchanting. I can't. You're going to make me break my promise. All I can do, and it's the original case of virtue is its own reward. But Srila Guru Maharaj, ever the advocate of Krishna, said in Rupa Goswami's Chaitanyastakam, we can extract from there, what is the one? Sureshanam Durgam Gati Ati Shayano Panishadam Muninam Sarvasam Pranatapatalinam Madhurima Viniryasha Premno Nikila Pashu Palam Bhujadrasham Satchetanna Kime Punar Pidashorya Shativadam. Saying what is so rarely achieved by the gods and goddesses, the demigods, beyond what is given in the Upanishads, it goes ratcheting it up and up and up. He's saying the ultimate spiritual substance and method of love and affection for worshiping Krishna, Aradya Bhagavan Brajesha Tvanayas Taddama Vrindavanam Vishwanath. Saying these Brajagopis, what's in their heart, I'll become their canvasser. So he's saying, I can't reciprocate what you have, but what I can do is I can go tell the whole world about it. I can descend into this world and tell them how great you are. You're without comparison, you Braja Gopis. So then it appears Krishna does have favorites. So he comes in this world to tell everyone how great is the Krishna consciousness and the love of the devotion of the Braja Gopis, and particularly whom? Among them, the leader, the supreme leader of the Braja Gopis, Srimati Radharani. Jadi Gorna Hoita Tabiki Hoita Kamari Daritam Dehe Radhar Mahima Prema Rasasima Jagata Janatake. To tell the world, to broadcast to the world how great is the love in her heart, which is otherwise known as Krishna consciousness. Prema Rasasima. Experience the limits of that divine love. And Nityananda Prabhu, whether by kick or otherwise, he wants to bring everyone to Gauranga. And Gauranga wants to bring everyone to Radhan Govinda. So it's like a tag team. They're working together. Mahaprabhu told Nityananda, go to Bengal and tell everyone about Krishna. Nityananda, yes, sir. And he goes to Bengal and goes, Bhaja Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga, Laho Gauranga. Worship Gauranga. I'm falling at your feet begging you, worship Gauranga. Why? Nitai, why? Yata yata Gaura Padara Vinde Vindeta Bhaktim Krita Punya Rasi. Because he knows, at the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, there you'll get everything. Gaur Lila is the entrance to Krishna Lila. Every atom of Navadip is capable of giving Vrindavan in full. The Nam Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu is the Rasa Lila and distribution mode. So Nityananda knows, just bring everyone to the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Take the name of Mahaprabhu, and then you'll get everything. You'll get Vrindavan, Radha and Krishna and their divine pastimes. So he knows, we're telling he's going door to door, falling at their feet, begging. Once I was giving a talk in South Africa, and there's a group of people, and I said, and all you have to do is say, I want it. And there was some little boy in the back of the audience. When I said that, he goes, I want it. A fortunate soul. So, that's at the heart of all of this, beginning, middle, and end. Remember, everything has to be seen systematically, thematically. So whatever you might have seen in the beginning, Chota Haridas, Nityananda, it's all to bring everyone to this point in various ways. You know, to bring everyone to the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu and give them entrance into Vrindavan. Tata tuto tsarputi hridya kasmat. So, and those who have sufficient brain substance, refined theistic intellect, they'll hear this and understand the opportunity that is before them and ignore all the noise of the world and the people in the world. Sumedasa, Sukritivan, and what will happen as a consequence? Automatically, subconsciously, deep, within the deep heart's core, the Radha Rasa Shuddhanidhi, the ocean of the nectarine service of the holy lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, they'll enter that current and spring out of the soil of Vrindavan in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, in the domain of divine love and affection. Hare Krishna.